What's happening, bitch ass nigga? Let's answer some fucking questions. I feel like over the course of my tenure as a content creator, like I've given out enough information to form your own opinion on me as a Sonic fan. And I ran an AMA at this point, I think it's been like 2 weeks ago, just, you know, ask me anything about my Sonic opinions and I'll give you a direct answer. And instead of just making a video about a game or about a specific topic, I figured I'd just do a regular AMA, kind of get everything out into the ether. So we're just gonna get started with that. Some of y'all's questions. The first question comes from my boy Based God Dio. Go follow him on Twitch. It's one of my homies. Love that guy. But he asked, do you consider Sonic 06 Sonic Adventure 3 and why? I do not. 06 sucks. If we were gonna pick a spiritual successor, it would definitely be Unleashed, mainly because I got that sense of exploration in the hub worlds, and like there were little side quests that you could do, and everything works in Unleashed as far as like giving it the adventure feel, because there is still like, you know, you do your exploration, then you get access to a stage, then you complete the stage, then you go back to the hub world. I really appreciated that in Unleashed. And again, it works, it functions. 06 does not, so fuck no, absolutely not. The next question comes from Cloptopolis, my boy. He asked, can you rank the Sonic Rush trilogy and tell us why they are in the place they're in? I can, and I shall. So for me, I would have to put Rush at number 1, mainly because it introduced us to the boost formula in a 2D space. And the soundtrack is really like why I have it over Rush Adventure. Rush Adventure has an amazing soundtrack too, but like Hideki Naganuma and the Jet Set Radio soundtrack, like sound aesthetic, just fits so well with Sonic, and it's hard to deny that. So like I have Rush, and then Rush Adventure slightly under that, and then on the same level as Rush Adventure, it would be Colors DS. Because I feel like Colors DS was less filler than Base Colors. Base Colors is fun, but like Colors DS got to the fucking point. Like you play an act or two, you get a cutscene, you move on to the next act. There aren't like 8 acts scattered across each level, and I feel like the powers work better generally in a 2D space than they did a 3D space. So that's why I would say Colors DS is up there. Colors DS is honestly like, I think the superior version of Colors. Not saying Wii Colors is bad, but you know, just it's better to me. Next question comes from It's Saucy 2X. Why hasn't Sega released Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 remakes? Very simple answer, fear. Because of how this fan base reacts to anything in any capacity. There's just a general sense of what do we do to make it fresh, but also retain the original spirit that's gonna set the fandom ablaze, because if it doesn't play exactly like SA1 and 2, people are gonna complain. But if it doesn't do anything new enough, people are gonna complain about that too. And we just got a Generations remake announced, like with some new Shadow content. So that's really gonna be the testing ground for a lot of that shit. And sorry, like I got lawn people cutting my yard, man. Shout out Carlos. But that's the core reason. It's just like a general fear of the fan base, because those are two very beloved games that are easy to mess up. And I hope they get the confidence to do them, because SA1 is like probably my favorite Sonic game. And I would like to see what that looks like with modern updated graphics. Like y'all really don't have to change anything about the gameplay or the content really, but I would just love to see what that looks like in 2025, 2026, whenever we get it. Next question comes from Poochie9876, another IRL homie. Like, do you think we'll actually get Sonic Adventure 3, or rather will we get it before we see Frontiers 2? No, but also yes. I think we'll eventually, like, not in this decade, but we probably will get a titled Adventure 3, and like, again, the Twitter fan base is gonna shit the bed regardless. So public reception be damned. I would love to see an Adventure 3 from a confident Sonic team, and given their current track record, we might be in for some heat if we do ever get it. Will we get it before Frontiers 2? Probably not. Like, Frontiers set the tone for, I think, the mainline games. I don't even think the next mainline game is going to be Frontiers 2 or even an open world game, but I'd put money that we got a Frontier sequel before we ever got a proper sequel to Adventure 3. I'd bet my last fucking dollar on that shit. Next question comes from Nostalgia 2009. Worst Archie character? Prince Antoine. I'm not spending any more time talking about that bitch ass nigga than I have to. It's definitely Prince Antoine. Next question comes from Nighthawk F117. Worst classic Sonic game? I like them all. Like, I feel like if I had to put one down that I've played the least or that feels the oddest, maybe CD, just because it's a more exploratory Sonic. And I get what they were going for, but like when compared to 1, 2, and 3, it's definitely the odd child out. So I won't call it the worst, but I definitely say it's like the one I've played the least. Next question comes from Shadow Vegito 5923. They ask, what do you think was the stupidest thing Sonic fans fought over? Anything after 2016. Or sorry, 2016, anything after the release of Mania. Like, there's not been a solid, well-founded, adequately researched debate in this fandom really since like the VA changes back in the day. Like when the 4Kids cast took over, like we got people arguing about, you know, muzzle curve, Sonic shade of blue, which model was the best, characterization, like keeping the Japanese dialogue, translating the Japanese dialogue 1-to-1 in the West when there are cultural and linguistical nuances that we wouldn't understand if the Japanese dialogue was translated 1-to-1. Like, there was an argument, I think it was last month, about like the usage of chili dogs in the Sonic universe, and I'm just like, we have some of like the most slow news days debates that I've ever seen in any fandom that I've been a part of. And like, it's all of it's dumb. Like, I am 32, right? So I was there and alive for the green-eyed debate. And like, the worst that the green-eyed debate got back in the day was, are they gonna color everybody's eyes or is it just Sonic's? And like, it looks weird because it was different at the time. Everybody in the franchise had black eyes. So it was just like, oh, that's an odd change. I hope they make it for every part of the cast. Now you're basically a social pariah if you dare to like anything past 2010. And it's very weird. Like, the online fandom, I can't say the fandom as a whole, but like the online fandom is very strange about people's personal tastes, and media literacy is a really big thing. And a lot of people just don't understand what they play or read or watch. Like, they understand it on a surface level, and that's about it. But there's way too many to pick one. I honestly think the dumbest one would probably be the characterization, just because it's been going on the longest. Like, characters get, you know, characterized depending on the subject matter of the story and the media. Like, it happens in comics all the time. Like, Spider-Man and Iron Man have been the same core character, but they've behaved differently depending on the run and the writer and the scenario that they're placed in. So like, to say that this is the one way that this character should be all the time, and any deviation is wrong. I think that's personally stupid because that makes a very boring character. Like, there's no room for growth, there's no room for expansion, there's no change. It's like, you know what you're gonna get every time. Like Mario. Like, I know every time a Mario game gets released, I know exactly what I'm getting. It's like the iPhone. like you've been, if you're an iPhone owner, you've been buying the same phone for a decade. Like, no form factor. Look at my phone. Look at my Kirby case, right? Z Flip. I can close this bitch. I can activate my front screen and do cool stuff with it. iPhone has never had a form factor change since like the iPhone 8. Like, it's only been like, hey, we made it longer or added a camera or stopped selling stuff to you. And I don't want my characters to be that way. You know, like, personal traits can stay the same, but I like some deviation depending on the situation. That's just me though. Next question comes from JustJack23RK59. What's my favorite Sonic game? So like, I'd have to go by era for that one. Out of the original 4 classics, it's Sonic 2. From the Adventure era, it's Adventure 1. From the Dark Ages, it's Unleashed. With the Advanced games, it's Advanced 2. With the Rush games, it's Rush 1. With the Meta era, it's probably Gens. And out of the current era, it's Frontiers. Like, if I wanted to pick some, I'd have to do like a top 5. I really think Adventure 1 is probably my favorite game overall, because I go back to it so often and it just feels really good to play every time I play it. And of course, nostalgia is attached to it, but even just like weighted against everything else, like, I've gone back to Adventure 1 so many times. Like, that game is so fucking fun. The next question also comes from JustJack23RK59. He asks, what Sonic character do you have a crush on? Ha 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 ha. Listen, man, these are animals, right? I'm not gonna clown anybody, any furries, or anybody that ships anybody with any other characters, but I can't pick just one. I cannot pick just a singular. And then we have characters from the comics, from the games, bro. It's so many, it's overwhelming. So like, I do not have a crush on any characters. I have a crush on multiple characters. Oh man, that's gonna go over very well with the critics. Next question comes from Cellarbolt. Which Sonic character do you relate to the most? Probably Shadow and Knuckles if I had to pick two. Knuckles, cause like, you know, the autism makes me very socially awkward sometimes. Or not even really awkward, just like very direct. Like, I don't like a lot of small talk. Like, I don't like to listen to people yap. Like, have something to say, right? As far as Shadow goes, like, it's really just being, not even the edgy portion, just like really being incredibly loyal to your friends to a fault. Like, one of my friends, I could witness one of my friends go out and commit a murder, and until the court system has undeniable, irrefutable, factual evidence that they did it, he didn't do that shit. They didn't do that. You're a liar, dude. You're capping. To be honest, Your Honor, you weren't there, so how the fuck do you know that? Forget about it, cuh. But that's like, I feel like those are the two characters that I would relate to the most, also because Black Lives Matter. Next question again comes from Shadow Vegito 5923. What's my favorite thing about Sonic? I don't know if you talk about the character or the game. The character is just, it's just a fun character. Like, I like the way, the thing that got me into Sonic was, you know, watching my cousin play the games when I was younger, because he had a Sega and I didn't. And I like, blue was my favorite color, and there's this game that I can play as a blue nigga and run very fast and do all these crazy things. And that trend continued throughout the majority of my life. So when it comes to the games, it's just a fun factor. Like, there's literally no other game that plays like a Sonic game. Like, there's nothing you can really compare it to. And about the character, I mean, he's just a fun character. He's like this fucking sarcastic asshole, but he's always still a hero. And I like that. I don't like the Boy Scout heroes that are always good and never have anything like snarky to say. Like, I'm a very cynical person. So like when I see that shit, it just resonates and I fucking love it with Sonic and friends. So yeah, that's probably like the favorite thing, the general demeanor of Sonic. And our final question comes from DJ UV4375. Do I think the comics should become canon to the game? I think if we're gonna do that, we would have to make a game that's based around the comics stories. So with Dragon Ball games, you know, there's always they go through all of the arcs of the series, and that makes up the main story. Like if we get Frontiers 2 and it's the IDW adventures, I think that would be actually sick as fuck. It could potentially be a good way to introduce the comics into like the canon that we've known, but adapting those stories into a game, or like just having a game that like adapts all of like the core stories that we've gotten, like the Metal Virus, Scrapnik Island, Imposter Syndrome. Like if we got all of those arcs like as a game or as one game, I feel like that would be a really cool place, because they already kind of did it with Frontiers, was like making references to those characters, and that in itself kind of leaves the door open to introduce them into the game. So like if we do ever get an adventure sequel, it probably wouldn't be like the old games where it was just like the core cast that we've had for like 20 plus years. You could introduce Whisper and Tangle, and they have completely unique play styles, reintroduce Silver and fix the way he worked from 06, and that'd be cool. But I don't know. I don't know if I would say that they should be canon. It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see them do it. But like I kind of like everything having its own continuity. You know, like there's the game continuity, then there's the comic continuity, and those two things being independent of each other is fun because you don't have to cross and manage all of it. So I think they should stay separate, honestly. Like if we're gonna do that, then we need a game based around the comic book arcs, which would be like a large undertaking, because you kind of have to develop 3 games at that point. Because like the Imposter Syndrome portion of the game would have to play completely different from the Metal Virus portion, and then there's all the other side content, like everybody going on their own adventures and all of that. But for now, I think they should stay separate until they get a solid game plan going with those. But that's it for the video, man. Appreciate y'all hanging out again, listening to your boy chat. The Discord link is in the description, like always. Go ahead and join that. Come talk to us. We're fun. There's also like my other socials, like the Patreon, where we read Sonic fan fiction. I'm a voice actor, guys. I've been paid for my work. But all of that's gonna be in the description. I will see y'all in the next video at some point in the future. Peace.